To Formula Virtual Racing. We're here tonight around the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia, a fascinating track for a lot of drivers. It certainly is a state-of-the-art facility here in Saudi Arabia in the Jeddah Corniche, and we are here tonight for qualifying and the Grand Prix for round 10 in Saudi Arabia. Look, it was meant to be last week. Apologies for the audio issues there. It was meant to be last week. We had a few issues, but we're here this week, ladies and gentlemen, and here with me this week is the man, the myth, the legend, Brendan. How are you doing?
I am doing very well, thank you. And yourself?
I am not too bad. I am excited, I am ready, and I am ready to go in Saudi Arabia. We have no championship leader here this evening, a legend Rosenberg. It's a huge opportunity for Lewis McWilliam to gain some points in the championship. It is a huge opportunity for Mercedes as well, because of course McLaren have finished 1 and 2 in the last 3 Grand Prix, or 3 Grand Prix in Mexico, Abu Dhabi, and in Paul Ricard. And of course Legends won the last 4, including Monaco in that list. But it's a no legend win tonight. It could still be a McLaren 1-2, of course. They do Gift Pachero replacing the Dutchman this evening. Of course, Gift, the Ugandan. A bit of FVR history around street tracks. Gift's normally ran well around street tracks, but this is a street track like no other. 27 corners, 16 to the left and 11 to the right. We're on board. We're looking at Luke Davies here. He's going to be going on a qualifying lap. Luke got his first top 5 finish of the season in Abu Dhabi 2 weeks ago, and of course, only podium this season came in the FVR sprint in Paul Ricard. But Davies entering in towards 1 and 2. We'll see what the Briton can do.
Not too bad there through the first couple of turns. Now, it's just Sector 1 is where downforce plays its part. Having it there will really help you through all the high-speed corners. And you just see through here as it flies through. Looking fairly comfortable. So, should be getting a bit of time there just because you're not really going overboard. Now, you see through the long left-hander, which is to just get a nice little run through it, get the exit nice and right. Now here, and there, you need to pick your line. It's a bit blind of an exit, so you need to make sure your set entry is correct. Now onto us the second DRS straight. Obviously, this is where you're really drawing the power, or maybe the low aero. I see quite a nice front there. Having to go over there and have a little bounce off at the curb. See now down towards Sector 3, and we're going towards turn 287. Borbune has set the first time, is the benchmark. Chloe has now set a 128.2. Now Jake Marsh has driven up the benchmark by over a second here, so let's see what Luke Davies can do. Aaron McFall has improved, and like Luke Davies is about a tenth off Aaron McFall's fastest time.
That's a great lap by Aaron McFall, actually. 28-1. Jake Marsh there as well, pushing the boundaries. Here comes the Williams. Oh, not the Williams. It is McWilliam across the line in his McLaren. Lewis McWilliam with a 27.4. Yeah, that's a benchmark and a half, and you can see with the new Night Life McLaren livery. I have no idea the actual name of it, but it's something along those lines. Thomas Main goes to second and beats Aaron McFall, and his teammate Kyle Davis has actually retired from the session. Oh, he has a qualifying ban, that's right. Spin here. It's Seb Mills who has spun, and he has spun on the exit of turn 18, I believe it is. It's a really weird track back, as you can see on the bottom right. But it was the exit of turn 18 for Seb Mills that has caused him a bit of trouble. I believe that's it's one of the Aston Martins. It's Tim Denhyer who has gone to 9th, not a representative time. Samuel Stringer has gone to 6th as well, the American, and that is Brady Pollock in the other Red Bull. Brady returning for tonight, of course, won the Singapore Grand Prix. Once upon a time, that was back in season 5, he won his first and only FVR race win. Look, it's another night race around the straight track. Could we see possibly the Club 100 Carter throw a bit of a surprise here this evening? Hello to Danny Head Camper, who's watching the previous FVR champ, saying go that FIFA. As here is Theodore Marino. Oh, he's into the pits. He's backed off there. We're looking at another debut tonight in FVR. It's Jake Scarborough, and you might recognise Jake, or you might recognise Jake's voice. He commentates on FVRA. So we see him heading through sector number 1. Oh, it's just quick corners left, right and centre here. It's a bit of a mistake there from Jake Scarborough. He seems to go in a little bit too hot, but we're looking at the Alpine, which is his favourite car, he said. Of course, he's replacing Avestigo Badi tonight. And Avestigo Badi, unfortunately, we don't think he's any We don't think he's any name inside the hat that is called a championship anymore. It's just unfortunate circumstances for Avesta, which has led to him not be able to fight for his championship. But hopefully Alpine can still get some good results on the board with Jake Scarborough here as he heads up in towards the really, really quick right-hander of turn 21, 22, 23, all the way down here. The main straight, or the back straight, apologies, so many straights here, and straight line speed really is important, isn't it, Brendan?
It is. Obviously, Sector 1 is where downforce it will benefit, but Sector 2 and 3 is where you need straight line speed, and arguably in the race, having that straight line speed will be the key to keeping places or even gaining them. So see Jake Scarborough up to the line, and is a 1:30.1, good enough for P9.
Bit off, a little bit off there, the benchmark time set by Lewis McWilliam, as we're no one on a time to run actually at this point in time. Who'll be the next one to go on? But still some people coming out of the pits who haven't set laps. Liam Houseman as well. Liam, of course, really great race here with him. Last time we visited Saudi Arabia, the one and only time, it was a great battle between Legend Rosenberg, Juan Hernandez and Liam Houseman, who felt a bit of a sitting duck, but he kept his ground and held his own in his Ferrari. He's in a Ferrari-powered machine here, known as an Alfa Romeo for this evening. There's him and Guillermo Mezaguer, who's also about to start a hot lap behind, also in Ferrari-powered machinery. It is a Haas Formula 1 car, though, for him. So here comes Liam Houseman in towards the final corner of turn 27. This corner is very infamous for some qualifying mistakes. We all know what I'm talking about. It's just implied, but we all know. As Liam Houseman starts his qualifying lap here, we'll see what the Dutchman can do, of course. One pole position to his name this season in Miami. That was in some very difficult conditions. There's no real rain here in Jeddah because it is located in Saudi Arabia. But we'll see if Liam Houseman can take pole in a modern street track for the second time this season.
Well, you do say rain isn't really common here, but it is a little more common to see rain than other Middle Eastern tracks, for whatever reason it may be.
Yeah, you sometimes can get rain here. We never really see rain in Saudi Arabia. No, not in Saudi Arabia, apologies, in Bahrain or in Abu Dhabi. Well, let's see what Liam Houseman can do in the middle sector split. He's not quite there yet. He's heading up in towards a really tricky right-left. Probably the most difficult corner on the circuit to some people. It is an oh-so-difficult corner. It's a high-speed one next. It's the polar opposite. It's a high-speed left-right as he enters up here to the end of Sector 2, 101.084. Not bad job at all here for the Dutchman as he enters in towards that tricky left-right, of course. Crashes from Mick Schumacher, Charles Leclerc through there all over the years. We've had a couple of FVR crashes as well through there, I'm sure, as Liam Houseman heads up towards the final corner of the race, just past the DRS detection point. Hopefully we don't see any shenanigans going on there. He's going to get a bit of a tow from the Mercedes in front. It is not going to be a lot, but to the line, here comes Liam Houseman. It's going to be 28. It's a 1:28.7 for Liam Houseman, and it's enough for 7th place at this moment in time. Lewis McWilliam is heading through the first sector, the man currently on pole, the man tipped to win this Grand Prix, of course, with the absence of Legend Rosenberg. Almost clips the inside wall as he heads through the first sector, of course, heads through 6 and 7, and now heading through 8 and 9, and through 10, and just don't want to touch the curb on the outside, because that would really cause some harm. We've seen Mick Schumacher have a very high-speed collision there this year in qualifying, as McWilliam enters in towards the turn 11 hairpin, and then it's 14 and 15 and 16 and 17 coming up for him now. There's just corners everywhere on this circuit. It's the most corners on the Formula 1 calendar. You can see McWilliam sliding across the curb as he enters in towards the end of the second sector. This is where the high speed comes into play. If you don't have good straight line speed through here, you are going to be like a sitting duck. 0.3 of a second up. This is a monster of a run for McWilliam. This could possibly put him into the 2060s if he can find some time.
Maybe might get distant slipstream, but doesn't look like he'll be
chasing Luke Davies, 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Jake Marsh. Now that's a weird one, but Luke Davies will be starting 5 positions less than where he qualifies, as Jake Marsh has just gone to 2nd, which is a really weird one. Lewis McWilliam, 0.6 the green, as Jake Marsh didn't just cross the line. That was the other Ferrari of Juan Hernandez who crossed the line. Jake is still in 2nd. Thomas Main enters the pits. Aaron McFall in the pits. Theodore Marinov is not improving on his time. We'll see as Luke Davies improving. Not too sure what happened there. there with himself and Jake Marsh, but they are both in very close proximity on the racing circuit. He's 6.3 seconds down. Juan Hernandez runs wide. Brady Pollock going slow as well. Here comes Samuel Stringer to the line, and he's improved very marginally. Glennon is 0.2 of a second up here in the second sector, so we could see a Williams break into the top 10 here. Williams with not great history around this circuit in Formula 1 and in Formula Virtual Racing, and 0.2 of a second down almost, or a tenth and a half, and it's bouncing over the curve for the Williams lap. Still valid, mind you, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, we're just going to have to watch and see. I'll see, running low on ERS here, it's not going to help.
And towards the final corner, and that's Glennon just backed off. Yep, still flat. Oh no, into the pits. Into the pit lane. That is for Glennon. Tim Den Hyer has just started a lap as well. Still yet to see a time from Adrian Tice, Seb Millsy, Guillermo Mezaguer, Keith Pachero, and we're waiting. Oh, has Jake Scarborough, apologies, just clipped the wall there. He's down on his time, so it's not going to be a representative lap for Scarborough, but we'll have to wait and see. Juan Hernandez went to 7th on his previous best attempt, and there's people abandoning laps left, right and centre here, Brendan. It is a really difficult track to get a good hot lap on.
Yeah, it is indeed. You're always one slight error from crashing out, so people will be thinking, I'd rather bail out than crash out. And if you're bailing out means you get one further attempt at the end to maybe keep your confidence in check, then it would be probably a good choice just to not really go over the limit. I believe Aaron McFall will be going for a lap here.
Yeah, he's getting ready to go. Here's Aaron McFall. Oh, a lot of weaving for the 42 as he heads around the final corner. Well, of course, started the season in a main driver's role. He's in a reserve one now, and he's in an AlphaTauri, replacing Jack Redmond for this evening. One Irishman for another. We'll see McFall start his qualifying lap now as he heads in towards turn 1 and 2. It's a 220-metre run from Paul to turn number 1, so not the longest in Formula 1, but certainly not the shortest. I know Monaco might be a little bit shorter, and of course 3 wide into turn 1 can go, 3 wide into turn 2 certainly cannot, and that is something me and you have learned the hard way, Brendan. But in towards the middle, or the end of the first sector, towards the middle sector. Whoa, that car is on absolute rails through there. McFall has nailed that first sector and might be well up here on his time. He is. He's about 2.5 of a second up on his time, and Aaron McFall is really rocking around Saudi Arabia here so far. Look at the AlphaTauri fly through turn number 11. This thing is on rails. The ultimate grip for Aaron McFall. It is the ultimate thrill, hot lapping around this Jeddah Corniche circuit. No, he spun! Oh, Aaron McFall has spun. He's almost caught it. Oh, that was going to be a great lap. I'm really disappointed that he's unfortunately made a mistake on that one, but that's just what pushing can happen around Saudi Arabia. Push too far, you will be punished.
Yep, I think a lot of drivers would know that. Alan Mick Schumacher, Nicholas Latifi, Max Verstappen, so on and so forth.
As I think Aaron McFall may have impeded Brady Pollock behind, or maybe Brady starting a lap. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, there's a little bit of a glitch with the outlap and hot lap things. The little thing on the left hand side, of course, you can see. But Guillermo Mezaguer has invalidated his lap for the 3rd time through that first sector. He's not going well through there. Glennon's going to start a hot lap now. We'll see what the Williams can do, and or is that improving on a lap? I'm not quite sure. I think it was starting one into the braking zone for turn 1. Someone's had a huge lock up in there. There was a lot of tyre tracks in the apex of turn at number 1. Gotta say, Brendan, this Williams looks stunning through the Saudi Arabian nights.
Yep, it does indeed. And speaking about tyre tracks, I believe you can still see the tyre tracks from Verstappen's lock up in Singapore.
Oh yeah, I did see that actually. I did see that. No, Glennon's invalidated the lap, but yeah, I saw that on a Singaporean himself, GP and Memes. Don't know why we're promoting him. It's not like he's a sponsor or anything. But yeah, invalidated lap for Glennon. 2.1 seconds off pole position. There is a lot of gaps between the grid and pole. That is just due to this one. That is just due to.
Odd.
Oh, that is odd. Must have kept pushing to try to get it back to the pits. This is just due to this man, Lewis McWilliam, being absolutely dominant so far. in Saudi Arabian qualifying. Into turn number 1 comes the McLaren. He started his lap early here as a bit of a lock-up. You can see when a McLaren locks up nice because the Google Chrome logo will stop spinning. In towards 4 and 5, McWilliam, you've got to want to get as close to that wall as you can, and even closer to that one on the outside. Oh, he's tapped the wall, and he's got way too close to that one. And if there's front wing damage on that McLaren, that's qualifying done, but I think he might have just avoided it due to the tyre hitting the wall first. Backs off his lap there, you can see for Lewis McWilliam, and he's going to have to go again, but I don't think anyone's beating his lap, certainly, as you can see him and Thomas Main both running off the circuit, and there's an Aston Martin going slow behind as well. That's either Tim Higher or Lennon Rawding who's going slow there. There's currently nobody on a fast lap. There's a lot of people on outlaps as we get ready to head into the final part of qualifying. We thought we'd see a stunning lap from McWilliam, as it looks like Lennon's going again here, so no damage from that spin. There's a oh no, there's damage from that one. That's a rookie error, unfortunately.
Well, if there's no damage in the car after that, there's probably a damaged ego.
Well, there definitely is now.
Yeah,
or is there?
I don't know. It might structurally look, visibly look fine, but it could well be damaged.
Yeah, there's certainly some suspension gone flying across the circuit. Luke Davies getting ready to start his final lap as he heads to 27. It's a 5-place grid penalty for Luke Davies in this one, so he needs a good result in qualifying if he wants to start in the top 10. But really, Davies has never been the strongest in qualifying. Him and the man behind him, Juan Hernandez, have never been qualifiers. They've never really been qualifiers at heart, but racers. Oh, they certainly are, as we look at Davies heading through 4 and 5. No pole positions for Luke Davies. He's 2 wins and definitely has a couple podiums to his name. But it's not really been a lucky season for Luke Davies so far. Season 6 certainly was. He got 2 wins. The Imola one was certainly deserved. The Cota one was a little bit of luck, but Luke Davies has invalidated his lap time there. Will he get back round? I've no timer on my screen, so I can't quite tell.
1 and 2, fair enough, are very close. So
yeah, this is really close, and there's also the Haas behind. Theodore Marinov he's definitely looking for a cheeky slipstream maybe as Lewis McWilliam starts his lap. So does Jake Marsh. Thomas Main is 0.2 of a second up on his lap. Aaron McFall, he's almost clattered the wall, has Aaron McFall, and he makes it very easy to make that rhyme with his name sometimes. Main is heading through the second sector now, heading through that tricky right left. We've seen Aaron McFall have that spin there, and we just seen him tap the outside wall. Mercedes are playing a bit of a game here because just look in front of Thomas Main on the track map, you can see the other Mercedes AMG Petronas car of Luke Davies that's going to give the Belgium quite a beautiful slipstream down the back straight in towards 27. Here he's going to pick up the toe, and this will pick him up a few tenths of a second as well. Just look at him gaining and gaining. All the other Mercedes of Luke Davies almost pulls off too late, but Thomas Main has certainly got a few tenths of a second in that one. Nails is braking for the for the final corner. Apologies, I've kept saying that's the penultimate corner. There's Lennon Rawding and Jake Scarborough. Aaron goes to second. Liam Houseman goes to fourth. Here comes Thomas Main to the line. Goes onto the front row of the grid. It's 0.5 of a second off as Jake Marsh has invalidated his qualifying lap. Lewis McWilliam has made a mistake in his qualifying lap as well. We're looking at Guillermo Messaguer, who's pushing as well to go for higher up the grid here. We see Adrian Teisch. Can Adrian gain a few spots on this one as well? To the line, here comes the Canadian, whose surname I have been saying wrong, seemingly. He messed me about it. I still don't know how to say it correctly, Adrian, as Adrian Teisch goes to 16th. Theodore Marinov is slightly improving as well. He's the man in 6th position. He needs about 0.3 of a second if he wants to beat his teammate. Alfa Romeo had a very good qualifying here in Saudi Arabia. Here comes Marinov to the line. There's a Ferrari in front and a Ferrari powered car behind. Hernandez goes to 6th, instantly beaten by Marinov, who goes to 6th, and Hernandez will stay 7th. Brady Pollock is 0.7 of a second up in the second sector, seemingly here. Here comes Brady Pollock to the line. Can the Red Bulls pull a shock? Oh, he only goes to 6th position, as that was a dominant qualifying from Lewis McWilliam. I believe Samuel Stringer improved late there, and Guillermo Messaguer did go to 11th for the Haas Formula 1 team in the end. Great qualifying by Guillermo after making quite a few mistakes, but Lewis McWilliam, in the absence of his superior Dutch teammate arguably, is still the man who sets the pace. 0.5 of a second on pole position. It's a 27.169, and McWilliam will start the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix from the head of the field.
So, well, I will have to wonder if that's the biggest margin of pole we've seen this season. Is it the biggest margin of pole we've seen?
Liam Houseman might have a bigger one because of the way that session went. I know.
Yeah. But
it was a weird session.
A locked-in session for conditions. it's been it's very dominant, so you'd expect him to go on and make something of that pole.
Houseman was only on pole by 0.012, I've just checked, so yeah, I'll give that one to Lewis McWilliam. Certainly is the most dominant qualifying of the season. 1:27.168 for Lewis McWilliam is the qualifying time to start on pole position for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Thomas Main will start second in his Mercedes. That's a good front row going into turn 1. Then it is Aaron McFall in third, followed by Jake Marsh in fourth. Liam Houseman in fifth for Alfa Romeo, followed by Brady Pollock in sixth. Then it is Theodore Marino, Juan Hernandez, Luke Davies, Samuel Stringer, Guillermo Mezaguer, Clay Glennon, Bob Bune, Timden Heyer, Lennon Rawding, Jake Scarborough, Adrian Teisch, Seb Millsy, and then it will be Kyle Davison and Giff Fitzgerald who stand from the back row. Very interesting qualifying then as we head into Saudi Arabia. Shockingly, Brendan, it's a dry race.
Yeah, I know. I might faint from the shock.
Who wins it?
Well, quite clearly, by logic, it should be Lewis McWilliam. But Saudi Arabia doesn't...
Oh, you need to learn. Logic does not work in these races. This could go to anyone.
Hold on. You did not let me finish that point. I was about to say that. That logic doesn't work in Saudi Arabia. It doesn't really work in FVR either. So maybe two negatives equal a positive, but who knows?
Who knows? We do have a formation lap here, folks. So, don't you worry. Seemingly, well, we have a report on Giff Pichero. His wheel isn't working, so he's picked up a DualShock 4 controller and he's going to do the race on pad. I send my best wishes to those who are standing in front of him. Formation lap is going to go green here, folks. Well, hopefully. We do go green here in the formation lap. There is the tyre choices. It is the medium compound of tyres for our front three. Then Jake Marsh in fourth, the man from Leeds, doing his last race as a main driver this evening. He has other commitments, so this will be a last race for the Ferrari man as a main driver, and I'm not liking how it's starting because he's having a bit of issues as he enters into turn 2. Liam Houseman in 5th on the mediums ahead of Brady Pollock and Theodore Marinov, and then Juan Hernandez in 8th as well. I always expect to see more from Juan in qualifying, but he never really does deliver in qualifying. However, he'll probably end up getting a 5-second time penalty removed and end up on the podium in this one, because that is just the Juan Hernandez way. Then it is Samuel Stringer in the Red Bull, scored points on debut in Abu Dhabi ahead of Guillermo Mezaguer. Glennon in 11th. The Williams has scored points in every single season of Formula Virtual Racing. There's only 4 to her name so far. Then it is Borbune in 12th, and I gotta say, Borbune is arguably having a better season than last. He's currently 7th in the championship on 41. He's had a couple of great results in Australia and a few other races. Timden Heyer for Aston Martin ahead of Luke Davies. Luke Davies is 6th in the championship, only a singular point ahead of Borbune, but he has not got on the podium this season in a main race. He wants that to change this evening. Lennon Rawding then follows him in 15th ahead of Jake Scarborough, making a debut for Alpine ahead of the other Alpine of Adrian Teisch. And Seb Millsy, who starts 18th, but Seb 10th in the championship with 27 points. Of course, he was a reserve for most of the season, but now, rocking the Williams colours, he does keep his points. Kyle Davison then in 19th, and Kyle sits 17th in the championship, but of course he's only did 3 or so races. Starts on the soft, so expect him to be quick on the opening lap. And then it's Giff Fitzgerald, who normally runs quite well on street circuits, but of course he is on a controller due to some wheel issues, so if the McLaren can get into the top 10 in this race, I think that would be greater than a race win. But, Brendan, we're lining up on the grid now for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Is this one going to be a chaotic one into turn 1, and why is your answer yes?
Yes, because Saudi Arabia and FVR is always very competitive, so you will have some chaos. By the way, Juan is so good at getting things removed, he had Legend removed from the grid before the race.
Please ignore all the spinning on the grid, by the way. That is a terrible, terrible meta.
I suppose he's one thing he doesn't want to remove is tire temperature, so he's going to add some. So
Juan Hernandez is so great at getting things removed. He removed Legend from the grid. That is FVR gospel, folks. As Seb Mills, what is that grid like? That's disgusting. We get ready to go here in Saudi Arabia. 4 lights, 5 red lights. We go racing in Jeddah. There's a bit of a pause. Now we go racing in Jeddah. Lewis McWilliam gets away well, but it's a great launch actually from Aaron McFall. He's got a good launch. Oh, there's a car on the wall already. Is Main going to try it into turn 1? He isn't. Aaron McFall and Liam Houseman are actually battling here. Houseman has tried to go the long way around the outside, but it's a bit of a collision behind for Kyle Davis, who's had to take a evasive action through turn number 1. Brady Pollock piles in towards turn 4, and he's almost hit Jake Marsh. Juan Hernandez is up 3 spots into 5 here. Tim Denhyer and Lennon Walding having a great race start. Samuel Stringer and Bob Yoon have made a collision behind, and they're now down to 18th and 20th respectively, with Jake Scarborough now further down the order. Here comes Theodore Marinoff, and the 2 Aston Martins are side by side entering turn number 11. Oh, this one's going to be close as Lennon Walding goes up the inside of Tim Denhyer, but Denhyer is going to try and get the up and under on his teammate. The 2 Aston Martins looking stunning as ever here in Saudi Arabia under the lights, as there's a yellow flag behind. That is Kyle Davison who's gone round. That is Kyle who's gone round there, and Luke Davies has been involved in something as well, because he's still in 14th position. Glennon is down 2 spots as well, as is Guillermo Messaguer. What's happened there? Oh, it's Keith Pachero who has something's happened junior through there. The 2 Aston Martins are still going at it. Yellow flags here in the opening lap, but there's no safety car or VSC to be seen, as Tim Denhyer cannot gain on it. What was that?
No front wing for Junior, and he's out. Yeah.
Oh, now we could get a safety car. That's a horrendous spot, and if we don't get some form of a VSC, that is ridiculous. That is in a horrible spot as Lewis McWilliam sits the fastest lap of the race, and Thomas Main is right on the back of the McLaren. Locks up into 1. Oh, McFall's gone through on Houseman. Liam Houseman, and look at this, that's Seb Mills and Brady Pollock. Mills is going to try to go the long way around the outside. The red ball, he's in the wall! Seb Mills has tapped the wall there. He's tried to go the long way around the outside. Seems like he's let go of his steering wheel or something through there. Car just kicks out, taps the wall. Mills is going to be struggling if he has picked up front wing damage through there. That's not the best course of action. Oh, the Aston Martins have almost made contact. Lennon Walding went spinning around, and Tim Denhyer just had to take evasive action. That's really how close things get here in Jeddah.
Yeah, is not much room for error or battle, and I think battle can lead to error, so...
It really is a great track for punishing mistakes, though. I love it. I love the Jeddah Corniche circuit so much for league racing. In F1, it's a bit of a poor track. Another spin! Brady Pollock has gone round here, and this is going to be the team of the night, folks. Look, when you're looking at poetry or whatever, there's normally a bit of a hidden team. There's no hidden team for this race. It's going to be chaos, as Luke Davies has got past Glennon, and Davies is now going to look to try get past Guillermo Messaguer, who's got all out of shape as he heads through the high-speed chicane of 22 and 23, through 24 and now 25. Look at Luke Davies just pulling out a line. He's just trying to get the air onto the wings. Is Messaguer going to go for it? Down the inside on Mills. He's certainly gone on his Mills. Oh, he's hit the wall. Oh, Mills has put Messaguer in the wall. And it was a bit of a bold send from Guillermo Messaguer, and unfortunately it's not worked out for both of them. Davies has slipped through. Oh, look at this. It's 2 Williamses and a Red Bull down and towards turn number 1. Samuel Stringer being pushed right to the apex by Glennon. The 2 Williams have made contact. And Seb Mills is slowed in the middle of the corner, and Glennon was just like a pinball, sent them round, and yeah, that's not good for the Williams. They have not had the best of first sectors there for teamwork. It's not the example you want to be showing in an induction day for a new job. That is not what you want to be doing, folks.
Seb's hit the wall.
Oh yeah, Seb has no front wing. He certainly has no front wing now, and Guillermo Messaguer has... there's the virtual safety car that's come out. Will it be upgraded to a full? Could well be. But that is the virtual safety car out here, folks. Lewis McWilliams pulled 1.5 seconds on Thomas Main over the last 2 laps, and that's unbelievable pace from the Scotsman. He certainly is the one to beat so far this evening.
Yep, seems so. I have to say, the Williams do not have great teamwork, but if you do want to see great teamwork, look at FVR last night.
Brendan is talking about himself, quite obviously. He and Kyle Albert had a good bit of slipstream work. Of course, FVR weren't at Saudi Arabia last night. They did that last week. It was won by Tyler Davison, and it was me in second. They were racing in Shanghai for the first ever FVR alone standalone event. it was quite successful actually. So it could be something you see in the future if you are fans of FVR. It was won by Tyler Davison. He's won the last 4 races in a McLaren in an FVR series. Yes, it's an interesting season, folks, and yeah, he won it ahead of Borbune and ahead of Liam Angelo Carrick. As
a few pitters. Brady's
look, I won't lie to you, Brendan, I've just got a goal notification on my phone that Norwich have conceded, hence why I stopped mid-sentence. But we go racing again here in Saudi Arabia on lap number 4. Ferrari running well here, 5th and 6th, with Houseman in 4th and Marinoff in 7th, so the 2 Ferrari-powered cars in the middle. Oh, spin there. Oh, Aaron McFall has spun there, actually. I thought it was a back marker, but Aaron McFall, that was a very odd spin, very peculiar, and he spun round, and that's another one who has gone. Another one bites the dust.
Yep, FVR Rust, I think, has bitten Brady and Aaron, I think.
Oh, Brendan, that is brilliant, brilliant commentary. Chemistry! Oh, Glennon's gone round as well. And it's through that corner again, and Glennon... Stop reversing on the circuit, Chloe. You did that like 3 races in a row. We went... But, that's, yeah, it's definitely causing some spins, and really this one isn't over until the winner crosses the start-finish line, because any mistake could happen. We'll get the tyres back on screen for you now, folks, because they're a little bit different to when we first set off here in Saudi Arabia. As here we go. Is this going to be Juan Hernandez's chance on Liam Houseman in towards turn number 1? No, he's not quite close enough. Juan's a bit of a bold overtaker, but I think even by his standards that's a bit reckless, which... yeah, it certainly was, and he's gaining right up to Liam Houseman now, and we could see the 2 Ferraris duke it out with the 2 Alfa Romeos, and I'm sure whoever makes the... oh, Hernandez one's wide, actually. I'm sure whoever makes the Ferrari engines will not be loving that one if there is a crash, because that's not 1 new engine, that's 4. I mean, of course, this is a video game, so he doesn't really make the engines, but realism. And
I'm interested by this liberal interpretation of track limits.
Yeah. That was an interesting one, actually. And I think Juan Hernandez is a man who loves an old loophole. He's probably found another one.
Yeah.
Oh, slow through there for Hernandez. No loopholes here, just poor driving. And he... oh no, hold on a second. Theodore Marinoff's gone round, and... oh, it's another one. It is another one. Oh no! Samuel Stringer's gone round in the same corner. This corner's causing awful trouble this evening. That's Glennon Marinoff, Stringer, Pollock. And there could well be more who've gone round and that. Oh, Mills as well, that was another one who's gone round. And Lightning Luke Davies is up to 7th here, purely on the basis that he's not spun. He's actually going to be up to 6th here, because Tim Den Heyer is going to say goodnight to that Mercedes. It flies past, but Den Heyer may have another chance down and towards turn number 1. Of course, that is the double DRS effect that these corners provide. There's only 1 corner between 2 DRS zones, as we see Tim Den Heyer open up the rear wing. That was Adrian Teisch, who was spun in a different corner to where we've seen all the spins. Here comes Den Heyer. He's going to go for the outside here. Oh, that's an aggressive move to the outside for Den Heyer, but he's still going to try and keep the car in. Davies closes the gap. Only gives him molecules of space on the inside, but Den Heyer has pulled it around the outside, and he's going to lead in towards turn number 4. Great racecraft from Tim Den Heyer there. The Dutchman has... given the Mercedes a taste of his own medicine, and he's gone clean round the outside, which became the inside, and is back up to 6th position. Great battling here as Juan Hernandez is right on the back of Liam Houseman, the other Dutchman.
Yep, looks... I have to see if both of these... the key here may be getting through that corner without having to spin. As while Juan Hernandez knows how to find loopholes, it seems like everyone else here knows how to find the wall.
Yeah, it seems like it, and Houseman is just staying ahead of these. He's, I'm not sure if he's running a lot of straight line speed, but, oh, that's Millsy. That's an actual crash on the circuit, folks. This could bring the first safety car to the Grand Prix. It has. Safety car has come out, just as it looked like Hernandez had finally got a run on Houseman, and it will be the first safety car of the evening here in Saudi Arabia, and surely we're going to see McWilliam into the pits here, possibly for the hard compound tyres. I know it'll be a bit of an early stop, but they can certainly do it.
Yep, they can do it. I think...
look at Thomas Main. Thomas Main was just waiting to see Lewis's decision. They have committed to the pit lane. Houseman is in. Hernandez is in. Marsh is in as well. Bit of a peculiar call for Jake Marsh because he was on the hards. Tim Den Heyer stays out. Oh, this could be interesting. So does Luke Davies. Aaron McFall pulls in. Marinoff is in. And Lennon Roding is in as well. Borbune carries on. Samuel Stringer is going to pull into the pits, and then we've a little bit of a wait. But This is going to be crucial. Does McWilliam get out in front of Borbune? And so does Thomas Main gets out in front of Borbune. Liam Hausman doesn't. He has a car in between himself and Hausman.
Oh.
Had Hernandez inside him for a little bit. Don't take that the wrong way, but there was a bit of a ghosting situation there, but Hernandez is still behind the Alfa Romeo, and it looks like Jake Marshall, he's come out of the pits behind Hernandez, so that double stack has not affected him.
I think Jake here will be gambling on there being another safety car later on.
Surely that's the gamble here, because he's not making the end on those, is he?
Well, if you can manage it well enough, you probably could stretch it. But it will require a bit of effort. After all, you have gotten some of the real most high fuel laps out of the way. Plus, you'll have a safety car lap or two to bring them in, so you don't have to put wear on them just warming them. So maybe you could, but you'd probably be gambling on another safety car to give them an easy period, or a late safety car.
But I'm not certain mediums could do more than 13 laps ish, which is only getting them to about, by the end of this safety car, 21, 22. They'd certainly be fought. It's possible. It is possible, but my oh my, is it difficult, and it's really not going to leave Jake Marsh in a good position here.
And I think Jake...
It's gamble. It's gamble.
Really give his tyres a break, so...
Yeah, it's... Look, I can't really see us going green to the end here, Brendan, and I think that's the gamble Jake Marsh is going to take. He's going to try to take track position. Hopefully a safety car comes out with 5 or 6 laps to go. Everyone dives into the pits and they all come out in the same order. That's as well what could happen. That's what's happened before. Going off history, he's made the right call here, but going off logic, not really. Although I said it in the introduction, logic doesn't usually apply in these races around Saudi Arabia.
So we have Tim here now leading. It's interesting now he didn't like to go to the pits.
Yeah, that's a weird one for me. I understand why Luke Davies stayed out and why Borbune stayed out, but I don't know why Tim Denhire did.
I don't know. I think Tim Denhire is one for gambles. Maybe took one yesterday in FVR and it did work out somewhat, so he was able to salvage a result out of his race. I believe he was fairly down the order.
Yeah, it's a weird gamble, but gambles are worth taking, I suppose, if you're in Tim Denhire's position, because at the end of the day, he's either going to win this race or he's going to lose it. He's not really in a championship fight. If he scores a podium, same thing, he wins or gets a podium, but if he's in 7th or 8th, he doesn't really want that sort of result. He just wants to be there, have some good racing, and maybe it's just an opportunity to pad a couple of lead laps. But unfortunately for you, Tim, we don't keep track of that in FVR. We have lots of statistics that we do keep track of, but laps led is not one, because poor Brendan and Khalil have enough on their hands as it is with the statistics books. Now, the thing here is, Brendan, Luke Davies and Lewis McWilliam, this is not going to be the most friendly battle. It's also not going to be friendly because the man behind Lewis McWilliam is Luke Davies' teammate Thomas Main. How do we see this one playing out? Because I certainly see it playing out as Thomas Main will be ahead of Lewis McWilliam and Luke Davies by the time this restart lap finishes.
My thing is, Lewis needs to be banking on Luke Davies. Well, he has been experienced in FVR, he has been around for a long time. He is still fairly young, so would he have the full experience of this, maybe having to defend someone else for the purpose of getting someone else
Brendan,
ahead
is this
of
just
that?
you calling him a child again?
Well,
could well be.
My point remains.
No, I see what you mean. McWilliam will have the experience, certainly, on the man in front of him, but Luke Davies, as he has proved, can win races in Formula Virtual Racing, and he certainly can fight for podiums. He did that on multiple occasions, and he made his debut in Abu Dhabi in a Middle Eastern sort of circuit, and had a good race in Abu Dhabi last week. He was battling with the front crew for quite a while, but the man and the name on everyone's lips on this restart lap is Tim Denhire. Made a great move earlier on in the race. And we go racing in Saudi Arabia. Let's see how this one plays out. Davies has got a fairly decent restart, but McWilliam is right with him. There's been a bit of a gap fall off. As look at Thomas Main, heating his tyres in towards turn number 1. Den Hire is safe, but just take a look at Liam Houseman up the inside of Borbune. Gotta be left of space here as something's happened. Aaron McFall, I think he's gone round to the back, or he's either got hit. Houseman has got the job done, and it looks like it could be Jake Marsh who's got the job done on Borbune as well. He has. That's a great move for Jake Marsh, and Borbune's gonna have to settle down behind. Den Hire is not really pulling away from Davies here as much as he'd like, and of course Tim's tyres will be in probably a worse condition than Luke Davies. There's a couple of penalties gone on there, and I'm not sure if that one's fair. Look at Lewis McWilliam being pushed to the inside on Luke Davies, entering turn number 11. McWilliam goes for the inside on the Mercedes, and he's got the job done. It's a brilliant move from Lewis McWilliam. He's looking for Den Hire. He's got Den Hire as well, and Lewis McWilliam now has 2 cars in between as Thomas Main is led instantly through by Luke Davies. That's a team call if I've ever seen one. Yellow flag is behind. That is Guillermo Meseguer, who's gone round through turn 11. Thomas Main has got past Tim Den Hire, and these guys have dispatched the stay out guys. Oh no, hold on a second! Oh, Den Hire's almost put him in the wall, and Den Hire just keeps his car in and defends this one, but Tim Den Hire almost came a cropper there and almost been pulled in the wall by Thomas Main. Thomas is going for an inch perfect gap up the inside of the Aston Martin, and just take a look at this. Jake Marsh on Liam Houseman. This is going to be a side-by-side battle as Luke Davies looks to get past Den Hire as well. Marsh breaks late. Oh, he's broke way too late, and he's hit the back of the Aston Martin, and Jake Marsh has made a meal of that overtake, and he will just have to settle in behind Liam Houseman. He's much better tyres, but he almost killed the Aston Martin, who's 2 positions in front of him. As here comes Den Hire again. Is he going to try go past Thomas Main? It's got to be late in the brakes. Oh, it's extremely late in the brakes. Oh, thankfully he got the car stopped, but that was a disaster waiting to happen.
Aaron pits. Theo in the pits. Oh, that's 3 people.
That's 3 people in the pits there who've... Yeah, that's unfortunate on the restart. Liam Houseman has cars all around him, and Thomas Main needs a great first second. He needs much better few couple of corners if he wants to keep with Lewis McWilliam. Oh no, he's fallen out of DRS, and this could be bad news for Mercedes because McWilliam could run away with this one. Here comes Marsh on the inside of Liam Houseman. Adrian Tice is retired from the Grand Prix. This could be a safety car called. It is a safety car called out again, and the safety car has come out here on lap number 10. Safety cars, well and truly breed safety cars.
Yeah, and Jake's probably feeling a little vindicated in his call now because
yeah, I think it's helped him. It's certainly helped him.
Yeah, it should extend his tyre life. And here's the key now. Ferrari have now gotten a car ahead of Liam Houseman. But whether it'll necessarily be the right car ahead, as you just see one harrying Liam here a little, which is very interesting to see. I was just looking for every little psychological advantage you could find.
Who will see? Does anyone pit? I can't see it.
Luke Davies.
Why is Den Hire not pit? Davies is in.
Den Hire must be going for medium soft at this point.
Yeah, that's. I think. Yeah, Davies can
As
get those 2. Yeah,
I think he could have come out in an alright position.
Who? Tim?
Yep. He could have come out in an alright position.
Would come out in 12th. Or
yeah,
would have come out in 13th, and Davies would have come out in 14th. I mean, it's not the worst in the world.
Indeed.
Certainly not the worst in the world. Saudi Arabia, the country with the 13th largest land mass. It's 13th largest country in the world in terms of land mass, of course, and we are certainly getting a race with a large amount of potential so far this evening. It's been a good one so far, actually. It's been some great battles. If we could have a battle for the lead now, that'd be the next thing I'd look for. But Lewis McWilliam has just got really good pace this evening, and with no Legend Rosenberg here, he has no one to challenge him so far.
I think this is probably going to be Thomas Main's best chance yet. There was potential in that last safety car, but Lewis McWilliam, he got the job done on Luke Davies before Luke Davies could set up the scenario for Thomas Main to do a job on Lewis McWilliam. So now it's going to be a case of you just need to be ready for when that safety car restart will be called in, and I'm gonna be ready to just press the throttle immediately when Lewis McWilliam does.
Another thing that will help Main is he will get the slipstream on the restart lap, and if he can get past McWilliam and defend, which is very difficult around Saudi Arabia, you gotta be ready to be overtaken and try re-overtake, because that DRS is oh so powerful. Down the back straight, down the main straight, and down every other little bit of straight that it has it is oh so powerful, and any bit of straight line speed advantage you can get around here, it will certainly be in your favour. But the thing here is, Brendan, McWilliam's been oh so quick through Sector 1. Will Main have more straight line speed than him? And if it comes down to a couple of last lap duels, will Main take it purely based on the fact that he's running a faster car in the straights?
That may prove to be important, but the later you get safety cars, it's actually going to become a little less important, especially if there's no DRS for like two laps after the restart. And if there's like a really late safety car, you might even get DRS at the end of the race. So it'll be a case of, will Thomas Main have the straight line speed and the closeness at the right time to place himself ahead?
Yeah, really, like, if it comes down to a last lap battle, it could be chaos, just because of, well, it's a last lap battle and everything that comes with a last lap battle. We've seen a few in Formula 1, we've seen a few in FVR. One of the best ones has to be the Russian Grand Prix. It was between Jack Redmond, Lewis McWilliam, Vestager Badi, and Legend Rosenberg, may I say? I can't really remember, but it would have been a good battle.
I think he was in that, but a bad strategy call placed him down, or maybe that was a different one.
I think we're on the right. So, oh no, I remember that one. That was between Tyler Davison and Juan Hernandez. Again, it was a last lap battle. The Russian Grand Prix brought some brilliant battles, but yeah, we won't be heading to Russia anytime soon, as we'll get restart of this lap, Brendan. But Tim Denhire surely is in big trouble here.
I think he's just gambling on maybe having a tyres advantage at this point, or maybe he's just enjoying being somewhat at the front.
Of course, Saudi Arabia was the 75th venue to host a Formula 1 race. It hosted the 60th ever FVR race, and the main talking point in that one was, of course, it was not the win for Tyler Davison, it was the championship for Legend Rosenberg. He sealed his first championship here back in Season 5. He's going for his third. He's not here this evening, of course, but he is going for his third driver's title in a row, and in total. This man could stop him, and that's Lewis McWilliam. It's a man who's beaten him once before. He could certainly do it again, but he has the ace of Thomas Main behind, and he holds it, and he holds it, and now we go racing in Saudi Arabia. What a restart for Tim Denhire. He could really have a go. It's another great restart for the two Ferraris, and down to turn number 1. Jake Marsh, oh, he's been pushed into the wall, and it's 4 wide into turn number 1. Thomas Main has been sent round. Jake Marsh has cut the corner, and he's got a 3-second time penalty. Both Ferraris are through. Jake Marsh seems like he's to hand the position. Juan Hernandez is up into second in this one. Main has got sent spinning. Both Mercedes are out of the point. Disaster on an evening that could be so grateful for Mercedes so far. Pollock, oh, Tim Denhire has big damage. Tim Denhire has massive damage as Warbune gets all out of shape behind Glennon. Could take this one. Here is Warbune. Actually, he's not made a pit stop yet in this one. He's still on 12 lap old hard compound tyres, and we could see Glennon with a bit of a masterclass around the streets of Saudi Arabia. But Samuel Stringer is up the inside of the Williams, and the Williams has been boxed in, and now it's going to be Davies versus Glennon entering in towards. It's going to be Davies, Glennon, and Stringer through here. That was Kyle Davison who got the move done. Look at this, 2 wide in towards the middle sector. This is an unbelievable battle. Samuel Stringer's trying to get involved in this one as well. It was the Williams and the Mercedes on the apex, but the Red Bull's put himself involved in this one as well. And just look at this by the overhead camera. What a beautiful, beautiful camera as we head into the turn 22 chicane. Luke Davies has gone for the Williams. Oh, it's Aaron McFall who's hit Samuel Stringer off the circuit. Stringer comes back on the circuit. Oh, how he's not out of the race is beyond me. How he is not out of the race is beyond me. That's a scary moment for any racing driver, to just see yourself bounce back across the circuit, and that is an unfortunate moment as Lennon Roding is in 4th place in this Grand Prix, Brendan. I can't believe that, how he's ended up in fourth.
He's used all his deployment, so...
Oh, here comes Main. Main is on a bit of a comeback. He's got past Aaron McFall, and now he needs to try and get past Glennon, but McFall is going to tuck into what was a slipstream, but Glennon moves over onto the racing line. McFall up the inside. Main
that's a proper free for Jake now.
Oh, hold on a second. That's a bit of a collision there between Aaron McFall and Thomas Main. Main is going to try dive Glennon into turn 4. This is a risky move. Glennon leaves the space. Great wheel-to-wheel racing from these two, but Aaron McFall is going to try and get back past as well, and that Williams is just making that car the size of a London bus through this first sector, and rightly so. It's an on-track battle as someone's run wide in front. That's Kyle Davis who's run wide in front, and Thomas Main's teammate Luke Davies goes up the inside of Kyle Davis. He looked to go up the inside of Borbune as well there. Let's just look at Lennon Roding and Brady Pollock here. They're entering in towards the high speed, or one of the high speed chicanes, and Roding is pushed to the inside. Pollock diverts off the circuit, and he has to hand that position back. That's an illegal overtake off the circuit in my book. Oh, Liam Houseman! Oh my goodness me, he's almost gone in the wall. Lennon Roding... Well, this race would have your heart on a monitor. There's contact between Tim Den Heyer and Borbune. Borbune's gone spinning, or Den Heyer, apologies, has gone spinning around. The two Dutchmen make contact, and look, there's a swap of position between the two Ferraris. Ferrari second and third here. I believe Marsh has the better pace. Then Juan Hernandez, Liam Houseman. Is he going to go up the inside of Lennon Roding? Oh, bit of contact, Houseman. Oh, that's a push to pass, Liam. You've got to give that one back, certainly. That's a bit of a push to pass. And if I was Lennon Roding, I would not be too happy about that one. As hold on a second, that's a Haas round in the back. It's Guillermo Meseguer who has gone round in the back. Too wide between Glennon and Main. Could well become free wide if Aaron McFall fancies it. He sits behind, breaks later than Main. Main broke really early into turn 1, and Aaron McFall is going to try hang it round the outside of Thomas Main, and he's done a great job of it as well. McFall's up to 11th. Glennon is slow off the apex. McFall could be up to 10th in the blink of an eye here. Hooks into the inside. Plenty of space left on the inside once again from the Williams, but Aaron McFall has wheel banging there with the Williams, somehow not made contact, and the two number 42s battle for the number. They're battling on track. Glennon has an awful run there through 8 and 9, and through 10 Thomas Main is all over the back of the Williams, and Thomas Main is going to try and hang it round the outside through turn number 11. Is he going to break later? He certainly is, and this is a classic IndyCar move. He's trying round the outside. Glennon pushes Main up onto the high side of the banking and into the wall, but Thomas Main has the run, and Thomas Main is through to P11 here. Glennon put up a great fight for a couple of laps. I gotta hand it to the Williams crew there. That car is quick down the straights, and that car is running well in this one, and hopefully if luck shines Lennon's way, it will be more points this season.
Well, yeah, pretty much any safety car now at this point could guarantee our points.
Oh, look at this. Luke Davies and Borbune. We've seen Borbune make a bit of contact with someone at some point. A lot happened in that restart. As Borbune still has to pit. He's going to be going on to this. Well, he still could go into the mediums if he pit this lap, actually. That wouldn't be a bad call. No, stays out. Going to tuck into slipstream. And Davies up to 7th on the mediums, and he's going to have to fight for this one because he's going to catch up to Lennon Roding and Liam Houseman, but the gap at the front is 1.3 seconds. Jake Marsh is the quicker Ferrari this evening, and that's not something you hear very often, but Jake Marsh is...
Look how much he's caught.
He's much quicker than Juan Hernandez. I know those medium tyres will still be nice and toasty, but he's much quicker than the Spaniard this evening, and Jake Marsh is proving why he is in that Ferrari team for a reason. There's yellow flag. That's Aaron McFall. Aaron McFall spun through turn 10, and it's not the first spin he's had this evening. He'll drop behind Guillermo Meseguer, quite possibly, as there goes Guillermo past Aaron McFall in his AlphaTauri, and the Aaron McFall adventures are not working out too well here in Saudi Arabia. Lennon Roding has made an absolute meal of the 15, 16, 17 section of corners, and Luke Davies is hunting down the Aston Martin. Davies has been on the back foot all Grand Prix long, but he is on the back over another car who he could possibly overtake. How's he going to play this one? Surely this is going to be a move into the final corner, turn 27. Just look at Davies in the straight line speed. He's hunting round the outside, and this is just the brilliance the Mercedes can produce. He's teed that move up perfectly. Didn't go for anything drastic at the wrong times, and Luke Davies is clear through into P6. Could possibly catch Liam Houseman in front. It's only 1.6 seconds, and the two young uns of FVR, I suppose we could say, it's possibly the only two drivers that are going to make me feel old. They could be battling in a couple of moments' time. Kyle Davis, Tronic Kane and his fellow Dutchman. These two don't live very far away from each other at all, do Borbune and Kyle Davis. But they're on the back of Lennon Rodding now, who just seems to be struggling a tad here in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I have to say, I am a bit concerned as to Brady Pollock is now potentially on for a podium.
Yeah, how has that worked out? As Luke Davies, calm down, son. He's just gained 6/10 through the first sector. Back in with it, back in DRS of the Alfa Romeo. That's unbelievable pace from Luke Davies. I know he's much better tyres, but still, that is crazy pace. As Lennon Rodding's red light has been flashing for the last couple of laps. He's abusing his ERS, and he's certainly making everyone aware of it, because Borbune is all over the back of him. Kyle Davis has picked up a 3-second time penalty while we are on board with him. This could hamper Thomas Main, who is gaining right behind, and Luke Davies is gaining right behind Liam Hausman. But Brendan, just look at the gap these two up the front. McWilliam and Marsh developing over Hernandez. It's unbelievable. That's a yellow flag. That's Theodore Marinov, who's actually spun behind. A rare mistake from Theo, but the Bulgarian is not having a fun evening here in Saudi Arabia. Luke Davies could easily make this move into turn number 1, just a lap after he made the move on Lennon Rodding here. Here comes Davies. Can he get the job done? Is it going to be the inside or the outside for Davies? Who cares? He's just gone past on the straight. That's how quick Luke Davies is. That is an unbelievable run down the main straight. This could be a bit of an unbelievable battle as well, because Kyle Davis is the inside of Lennon Rodding, and Lennon does not like letting people through. He's made that clear in his couple of reserve appearances, apologies, and he's running Davis right close to the wall, and Rodding's actually tapped the wall himself there. He's going to have to stick behind through turn number 4, and it's going to be Thomas Main who's going to attack next, and the two Mercedes are the ones lighting this track alight, as Davies has almost pulled a second on Houseman. This is an unbelievable performance from the young Briton. Brendan, you with us?
Yep, I am.
Oh, you're here. Hello. I wasn't sure if I lost you. I got a little bit of a. I think my headphones unplugged really in my microphone, and I thought I'd lost us, and that would have been pretty disastrous, because this is arguably one of the best races this season. And if a safety car comes out, it well could be one of the best races of this season. Thomas Main is. Oh no, Kyle Davis has actually spun round. That'll give Thomas Main a position. You know what, Kyle, there's a couple of style points in that one for you. That was well recovered, but Kyle Davis has lost 2 positions in a spin and lost plenty of time with it. Thomas Main now has a free run at Lennon Rodding, where his teammate Luke Davies did, and through this corner Main is a lot closer than Davies was, and Thomas Main has got a try around the outside on Lennon Rodding. Rodding defending a lot more aggressively than he did on Luke Davies. He obviously knew Davies had much better pace than him, as Luke Davies is now within a second on Brady Pollock, and look, if all things keep going the way they are, this could be one of Luke Davies' performances of his career. This will certainly shut the haters up, that's for sure. Not that he has many. He's a very likeable guy, is Luke Davies. But this will certainly impose a threat on other drivers going forward, because Luke Davies is a racer, folks, and he's certainly proving it this evening in Saudi Arabia.
Yep, he's recovered well from P14. On the grid, obviously, that was not because of his qualifying pace, but because of a grid penalty for unfortunate reasons.
And McFrost is the last lap of the race. As Khalil's just commented on the stream, it's because I'm not calling him washed in his chat, and he's gone to do that now, so... There goes Luke's race. Khalil, be nice. As 0.5 of a second separate Davies and Pollock now. We were just saying Pollock could be on for a potential podium here. I don't think anyone's on for a potential podium apart from Marsh and McWilliam, because 5.8 seconds separates the Ferrari and the other Ferrari of Juan Hernandez. And yellow flag in sector number 2. It's a Haas, I believe. It's Guillermo Mezaguer who's gone round. As Borbune takes that spot. It was Mezaguer who's gone round. No DNF. He's still in the race, and we still have 17 runners in this one. And the one track you wouldn't expect it. We have a lot of runners. Now we have a DRS train, because Brady Pollock has just closed in on Juan Hernandez. Juan's pace is not with it tonight. Or Juan's not with it, I should say. Oh, actually, Brendan, there's been a mistake from our lead McLaren. That gap is almost under a second, out of nowhere. So there has been a mistake from the lead McLaren somewhere. Lewis McWilliam will probably gain the gap back, as he is 1.2, but... You know, there is some mistakes as Glennon and Scarborough side by side. Oh, that's a beautiful move by Glennon. Scarborough has he's got to be left kicking and screaming after that one, because that was a very nice move for the Williams.
Let's see, Brady's not within DRS range. This is Juan Hernandez. I would be getting concerned.
Oh, Kyle Davis, that's another spin for Kyle, and that could be another spot for Glennon, as we can see him drop behind Scarborough, and Glennon is possibly going to drop behind Borpunas. Borpunas did a massive snap through that sector, but we just have to go back to this battle between Pollock, Davies and Hernandez, and Juan Hernandez he's looking in a spot of bother here. Luke Davies, his tyres will be starting to fall off soon now. He's certainly been pushing on them, and Luke Davies he's got crazy pace through here, but we'll have to wait. You know, if Davies was at the front, I reckon he could still win this race, but he's not at the front here, and he's going to be one position closer to the front, though, because around the outside of Brady Pollock goes Luke Davies, and that is not a bad job at all by Luke Davies. He's going to have to fight it a little bit. Thought he wasn't going to have to fight it, but Brady's kept the car up the inside, leaves the Mercedes plenty of space on the outside. Brady has used all his talent to try to defend that one, but it wasn't enough, because Luke Davies has got the job done. He's not got it done just yet, though. Look at this slipstream. He has the job done prematurely. Brady Pollock is going to try hold it around the outside. He is going to try hold it on the outside. They make contact, and Luke Davies, does he get the exit on the South African? He does get the exit on the South African, and Luke Davies is going to stay in front here. Luke is now fighting for his first podium of the season, and what better man to fight with it than if he experienced Juan Hernandez. I know I say it a lot, but arguably one of the greatest drivers in FVR to never win a championship.
Yep, I think he's got the second highest points total in FVR history, but his best championship finish has been second. So,
twice, actually. Only man ever to finish runner-up twice.
You are right, so 2 seems to be the number for Juan Hernandez. As you got 2 wins last season.
Paul Ricard and Singapore, I believe. I could be wrong.
No, Singapore was Jack Redmond. He won in Zandvoort.
Oh yeah, he won the championship. Yeah, he won the Zandvoort. That's right. But he's going to be under a lot of pressure here from Luke Davies, because the Mercedes has gained so much on Juan Hernandez. Where is the move going to come? It's going to be around the outside on Juan Hernandez. This kid is pace, folks. Look at him fly past the Mercedes. Is up onto the podium here in Saudi Arabia, and it looks like he's barely even. Oh, he has flinched. He certainly flinched, and he certainly had a bit of a heart attack through that corner. Here comes the Spaniard, going to go on the outside of the Mercedes, and this is going to be an unbelievable battle into turn number 1. The experienced Spaniard versus the Mercedes, and Juan Hernandez gets that move back, possibly because of the mistake with Luke Davies, and Luke is going to have to he's just going to have to gather himself together again and have another go, but he certainly has the pace to do so. It's just if those tyres stay in nick, as Juan has slightly more battery here, and up the front, Lewis McWilliams pulled away once again from Jake Marsh.
Yeah, I think the mediums are starting to die out slightly now. Only thing that will really save them now is a safety car, and I was nearly thinking for a second that would have been it, but Theo has kept himself in the race.
Yeah, there's been a lot of spins tonight, folks, but not many DNS. We've only had 2 safety cars and a VSC here in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Is in towards 15, 16, 17. Davies is right on the back of Hernandez again, and he is treading the needle.
He's gaining here. Well, see, here's not where you want to pull the move, and arguably the next player isn't where you want to pull the move either.
Yeah, because you will be done on the main straight, but Davies is going to go for it again, and around the outside goes Luke Davies. He's did this move on multiple occasions. Hernandez runs him tight to the wall, and Juan Hernandez is just going to tuck in behind the Mercedes and possibly get the exit out of turn 27 and in towards turn number 1. Davies has made a much better attempt at getting out of the corner quicker this time, but Hernandez tucks in behind, and there's a yellow flag in, I thought it was McWilliam, but it's in the final sector, not the first. Juan Hernandez is going to try around the outside and braking in towards turn number 1. He's still going to force it, and Luke Davies, is he going to hold it round the outside? This time it's the podium for Davies, and this time he's got the job completed. Luke Davies is up onto the podium here in FVR for the first time this season, and Juan Hernandez is going to be under major trouble from Brady Pollock behind.
Here's the concern now.
Oh no, he's not! Oh! How was Brady saved that one? Oh my goodness me, that is one of the saves of the season for Brady Pollock. I want to see another onboard shot of that. That was a beautifully held save by Brady Pollock, and I thought he was gone round. I thought that was the end of the day for Brady.
I want to see now, is Juan Hernandez going to be able to keep within the DRS of Luke Davies. If he can, then he may be able to set himself up for perhaps one final shot to reclaim the podium. Otherwise, though, it seems like the youth is beating the experience today.
Yep, sometimes experience doesn't always win, and Juan Hernandez has kept it within the DRS of Luke Davies, so he might have one more go.
He does have opportunity, and you would have to be hoping at this point that Luke Davies' tyres have just hit a point of no return.
Oh, there's a three-way fight here, as we'll see if Juan Hernandez does gain on Luke Davies, but there's an unbelievable scrap between Samuel Stringer, Aaron McFall and Guillermo Messaguer through here. It doesn't look like Hernandez was able to close into Luke Davies, and we're just watching this battle here for P12 because it's Aaron McFall getting his elbows out in front of Messaguer and Stringer, and these two are three, I should say four actually. Den Heyer's just invited himself into the party. He's like, why didn't you invite me? As Stringer goes into the wall, and the American is not going to get into the points anytime soon in this race, but we see Bob Bune and Glennon scrapping as well. One Haas has just made a move for 9th, one Haas is going to try and make the move for 12th, and McFall defends the inside. These guys are all on the soft tyres that are having a ball. Oh, McFall is into the wall, unfortunately, here, and that battle's ended just as quickly as it started, but Bob Bune has got past Glennon, and Glennon could be in trouble from Jake Scarborough behind because those medium or hard tyres on the Williams, they're not going to be feeling too nice right now. Although, sorry, the medium's going to be even worse than Jake Scarborough's car. He's on 70-lap old mediums. They're not going to feel too nice at all. Hernandez is kept within the DRS of Davies for a second lap running, but Brady Pollock is a lot close. Oh, Hernandez! Oh, Hernandez! Big crash! Big crash! Hernandez has gone really slow through the corner. Brady Pollock has piled into the back of him, and Juan Hernandez's bad luck once again strikes. Brady Pollock even worse, arguably, there, because he just drove into the scene of the accident. Thomas Main has got to try and go around the outside of Liam Houseman here, and this is now a battle for P4 all of a sudden. Was the battle for 6th, now the battle for 4th. It's Alfa Romeo will pick up another point because that's the fastest lap of the race for Theodore Marinoff. Here comes Thomas Main. Houseman defends the inside. One Mercedes has made a couple of good moves and a Ferrari powered car into turn number 1. The other Mercedes will make a couple of good moves. On to the final lap. Thomas Main is up to 4th. What a recovery job from the two Mercedes today if it stays like this. But Liam Houseman may have something else to say about it, as he's really slow out of turn 2. That could be it.
Looked like an alright result for Juan Hernandez, but now it's probably just going to be a missed opportunity.
It's a mediocre P7 for Juan, because he was running for a potential podium, and that's gone.
You see, is his wing fully intact?
I think it should be.
Yeah, Brady's isn't though, so
yeah, he was just hit up the rear and
past here, arguably.
Yeah.
If Juan Hernandez just has the time and lap,
well, he is gaining on him, but heading through to go towards the final braking zone. It's been an unbelievable drive for Lewis McWilliam. He has been dominant, and well, in his teammates' absence, he has certainly delivered a dominant performance around the streets of Saudi Arabia, and the McLaren's going to come across the line for the second time this season. The mighty Scotsman is on top in Formula Virtual Racing. McWilliam wins it here in Saudi Arabia. Jake Marsh is going to come home in second position. But this man has arguably been, well, he's certainly been my driver of the day. Is he going to be second here because of the penalty for Jake Marsh? He is going to be second! And Luke Davies, after an unbelievable performance, will stand on the second pedestal of the podium. And Luke Davies is back on an FVR podium, and that is going to be a good feeling for the young man. Jake Marsh third, Thomas Main in fourth, Liam Houseman fifth. Great performance from the Dutchman. Brady Pollock sixth, Hernandez seventh. Lennon Rotting is going to come home in eighth. Good performance there, and I think Borbune's going to come home in 10th spot. I think Glennon's going to come home in 9th, and it will be another 2 points for the Williams here in the championship. Jake Scarborough is going to come home in he does have a puncture, yeah. 19 laps on the medium. Surprised that didn't come a lot earlier. Guillermo Messaguer is going to come home. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Samuel Stringer is going to come across the line in 12th. Guillermo is going to come across in 13th, and who needs an end plate? Tim Den Heyer is gonna come home in 14th. That was a bit of a cracking race, I won't lie, Brendan. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah. After all that, Lewis said that if not Luke ended on P2, and we were saying that there wouldn't be no love lost between them.
Liam Houseman
Thomas.
said, I finally got points. It's an interesting reaction to your first top 5 of the season. But there's Lewis McWilliam skating across the podium quite literally as McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari. The podium. It's the first time in God knows how many races we haven't had two of the same team stand on the podium.
However, another McLaren win. Take a drink every time McLaren wins in FVR Season 7.
You're gone. You're on the floor by this point. Because McLaren, let's do the maths. They might wrap up the Constructors' Championship next week. But Lewis McWilliam wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here in the Jeddah Corniche circuit with a race time of 42 minutes 30 seconds ahead of Lightning Luke Davies in second place from 14th to second. What a performance by Luke. Jake Marsh in third, ahead of Thomas Main in fourth. It's Liam Houseman for Alfa Romeo, Brady Pollock, Juan Hernandez, Lennon Rodding, Blake Lennon or Bune, Jake Scarborough, Samuel Stringer, Tim Denhire, Guillermo Mezekir, Aaron McFall, Fyodor Marinov and Kyle Davis. Your non-finishers for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix were Adrian Teich, Sebastian Mills and Gift Pachera. Brennan, who takes the Milan Safety Award?
I think I'll give it to Luke for being able to fly through the pack so quickly. Well, and I have to say, that's one large McLaren sandwich.
The thing is, as I was reading out the result, I said in my head, he's got to make the joke, isn't he? He's got to make the joke. Of course, and he did. Brendan always delivers. But that is all we do have time for here in Saudi Arabia. Brendan, what's your final thoughts on that one?
Probably one of the more exciting Grand Prix this season, and it's put this championship in Lewis McWilliam's hands. The question is now, when Legend Rosenberg returns for the next race, which is at Brazil, which is an FVR sprint, by the way.
It is! Thank you for reminding me.
It's 4, and that'll be 4 rounds plus the sprint to go. So, it's going to be crucial for Legend Rosenberg to get a good momentum going for them for the final 4 races, as it might well make the difference.
Thank you very much for tuning in to Formula Virtual Racing. Once again, folks, you can tune into Formula Virtual Racing Academy next week in Brazil. Thank you very much for tuning in, of course, and make sure to check out our Instagram and all our social channels to keep up with more FVR content. Stay safe and stay well, and we'll see you next time.